Sunday evening, 5:30, the 24th of January 2021. I'm having a look at the major commodities, starting off with gold. I do note we have a nice little bit of an bullish indecision candle sitting on 1800 and testing that for support. We are still technically in a monthly uptrend. We have broken the high of last month's candle, so we kind of effectively have until the end of this week to determine if gold is more likely to resume its longer term uptrend and head back up towards 2000. So that's what I'll be having a look for. There's no clear trend on the daily. I'm not looking, I don't see any easy or safe or really great money making opportunities here. We're still technically in a weekly downtrend, lower highs, lower lows, and so we have a conflict of monthly uptrend, daily downtrend, and weekly downtrend, and no clear trend on the daily. So what I'll be looking for this week is to see if gold is indeed ultimately intending on climbing higher. So that means that if that is the case, this week gold will start to work its way up back over 1900, potentially up towards 1950. If, on the other hand, the longer term trend is not going to be to the upside, then it's possible that gold will either go sideways or continue sideways, so producing a bit of an indecision bearish candle on the monthly, or subsequently starting to break to the downside and produce a bearish engulfing candle. And then revisit at that point as to what to do next week, the following week. Looking at silver. Silver is starting to test its upper limits at 26. All right, and so again, I'll be looking for that to follow through, same as gold, looking for that to break a little bit higher. We had some attempts on the precious metals to climb higher this week. Even here, looking at copper. Copper overall in the weekly has really just been doing a consolidation sideways, working out a little bit of its overextension. Again, anything here that shows more signs of it pushing to the upside, but I'm not seeing any immediate relatively safe money-making opportunities for intraday trading. Same thing again carries on with platinum, although it is technically in an uptrend, high lows, high highs, above 1.1. At the same time, it's definitely struggling to find buyers above that level to keep taking it a little bit higher, taking on towards 1.2. So again, not very happy with that. And of course, just looking at palladium as a mess at the moment. This is just a blender. Same thing on the weekly time frame. It just hasn't gone very far. It's incredibly choppy. Hasn't managed to break through this monthly resistance between 2.4 and 2.5. And so until it does, I suspect once it does, it'll start to move beautifully. But until then, it's incredibly dangerous. Moving on to crude oils, West Texas actually did a bit of a double top here, broke the low. So it's actually technically now in a downtrend on the daily. I'd be quite happy for this to come back and test 50 as a support. It's produced a swing high on the weekly. Overall, it's still in an uptrend on the weekly. It is now in a downtrend on the daily and uptrend on the monthly. So usually in situations like this, a small casual retracement down to a small correction, 250, and then a continuation to the upside would make a lot more sense. It just means I'm cautious in terms of buying opportunities. In order for me to kind of gain more confidence in that, I'd like to see it break up above these previous highs and start to demonstrate that it's recovered from this daily downtrend. Again, also a swing high on Brent crude as well. Light crude again, daily downtrend back into the moving averages, back down towards 50 would be nice to test that level. It's also producing some indecision candles here. So all of this implies that there is a very real possibility that we have a swing high and the price may head back down and do a bit of a weekly correction or a weekly retracement. Then having a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin did indeed kind of hit a lot lower. So there's quite a few buyers in here. There's just not enough to keep the trend to the upside. And so it's having a bit of a correction, certainly on the weekly time frame is having a bit of a correction. That monthly candle, so if we do continue down, what I'd like to see this week is see it continue down to connect to the moving averages before perhaps next week producing a nice bullish candle. What's going to be interesting about that is if it does ultimately close a lot lower, it's going to produce a very bearish rejection candle, which the implication of that is usually going to be the case on the monthly. If it's a red singular bearish candle, rejection, strong rejection, it might imply then that the future for Bitcoin lies a lot lower, down towards 20 or even a little bit lower, back down towards 14,000. So that is potentially, I'm going to avoid it completely in terms of intraday trading opportunities, because at the moment there's more implying that it's got a little bit further to go to the downside before it can recover and then start to resume the longer term uptrend. As I said, in the longer run over the coming year, certainly I think it's fair to say that Bitcoin has potential to continue to the upside, but it's had a really good run and at some point it has to have a bit of a correction. And this is what I'm watching out for this week. If it does continue down and close as a red bearish rejection candle, that would fulfill that kind of analysis. Looking at Ethereum, which is kind of playing a little bit of a catch-up, it's actually got a nice little maintained uptrend on the daily. These candles look a little bit more bullish, but actually taking the last three into account, it really hasn't done much. There's a bit of that hanging man candle we spoke about last week, and actually we haven't managed to go a lot higher. It is looking as though it wants to close officially up at this level, but if Bitcoin does do a very strong correction, I think we're going to find that Ethereum struggles to maintain the highs. So again, I'll just be a little bit more cautious on that, and that's pretty much it for me in terms of commodities this week. I think that there may be some good opportunities in oils. I'm cautious ahead of metals, and potentially more bearish on the cryptos for the immediate future. Thank you.